Studios presents Common Censored. Tell me what you're trying to do. Are you caught in a twist? Are you looking for something new? And does your heart need a fix? Or maybe just a tweak or two?
Beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes.
Tell me what it is.
Fucking hell. Can you guys see me this time? It looks like it. Oh, shit. Everything looked normal on my end, man. I could see myself. I could see everything. Anyway, welcome back to Common Censored. Thanks for sticking around. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I tried to switch to Brave browser to avoid all of the ads and everything. Everything looked normal on my end, but it just wasn't coming through to you guys, so sorry about that. Welcome back to Common Censored. That was Joe Biden expressing the feelings of the days of the week, the emotions for your average everyday day of the week, hilariously stumbling over his words as normal. Thanks for being here, all of you censored commoners. If you're new here, this is Common Censored. I'm Lord Sterling, and we are all the censored commoners working together to spread the truth, spread the good word. This is episode 174, and it's not really good word today, at least not in largely, because we have bad news for the petrodollar, for the U.S. dollar as a whole, as Russia has now stopped trading in the U.S. dollar entirely on the Moscow Stock Exchange. One of the final nails in the U.S. dollar's coffin. Not good. And simultaneously, the Saudis have announced they're going to be ditching the petrodollar, abandoning, not renewing the 50-year petrodollar deal that they had with us. So that's not good. Heading over towards the BRICS currency as they're planning on launching it later this year. This is not really good news. It could be really bad for all of us as the dollar gets wiped out. So yay, welcome to the party, everybody. Thanks for being here. We also have Joe Biden's ghostwriter transcripts being released, revealing all kinds of criminality that's even worse than what we thought it was going to be, or what we thought it was. Well, we all here knew that it was that it was probably worse than what they're saying, but it is indeed pretty bad. Make sure to join us Monday through Friday, 6:30-ish p.m. Eastern Time. That's right, Donna. I'm over on the East Coast. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Whew, finally got everything up and working, even if it's on the shitty Chrome browser. So, oh well. Thanks for being here. Let's move into the news. We got everybody talking about Joe Biden over at the G7 meeting that's been going on. Let's take a look at this crazy video of him completely screwing everything up as usual. I got this open in the wrong browser. Hold on a sec, guys. Fixing everything on the fly here. All right, we should be good now. Boom. Let's hop over to this crazy video. All right, we got it. Good stuff. Thanks for your patience again. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning of the broadcast. I guess I should finish the housekeeping stuff before we move into the hardcore stuff. Make sure to use hashtag CommonCensored when you share the broadcast over on X, where you can find us at _CommonCensored. Thanks to all of our new followers on Rumble. I'll shout you guys out momentarily. Links to all of the videos, articles, content we discuss in this episode will be posted down beneath the broadcast in the description. Timestamps are going to be all fucked up today, Mama Mac, because of the intro, so I wouldn't even bother with the timestamps unless you really want to give it a shot. I mean, you can if you want, but we'll see. Thanks to Mama Mac again. Make sure to support Mama Mac and fam over at alplama.com. They offer natural tinctures to remedy all the ailments you may have. Your new herbal health guru tastes bad, but does good. Alp Llama. Yuck. It's nasty, but it's really good. And if you want to support the show directly, make sure to head on over to our link tree. Check out our merch. Check out our books. Donate to the show if you want. Subscribe monthly. Anybody that subscribes monthly to Subscribestar or Locals for $5 or more, or Rumble Rants $5 or more, will be automatically entered into a contest to win one of our books, Common Sense and Common Censored, your choice. We got the redacted version of Common Sense, begging the question: is a revolution against tyranny even possible when the commons is stifled and suppressed? And disclaimer: we're not giving any medical advice, legal advice, financial advice. Views expressed on Common Censored are only opinions. Assume everything that we say is false and research for yourself. The only advice we are giving is think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. All right, finally we got this shit running. Let's get this bullshit off the screen so you guys can see what's going on over here with Joe Biden at the G7. Viva Fry over here saying everyone is freaking out about the Biden clip at the G7. He found the full video. The longer clip in context is even more horrifying. We got a paraglider coming in over here, and Joe Biden doesn't even seem to understand what's going on. Watch this. This is nuts. We have zombie president. So he goes right in front of Biden. Biden glances over and then just smiles, looks the total other different direction, walks off on his own over towards some guy who's just sitting there in military gear and camo. Jill has to wrangle him. Oh, it's not even Jill. It's some weirdo. Is that the Italian president? Georgia Maloney or something? And he's like, what the fuck is going on here? Huh? What are we doing here? Huh? This is nuts, dude. Biden is a shell of a human. A shell of a human. Bruh. It's crazy. What the fuck? This is honestly, we are beyond the point of no return at this point. We got to win this election. Otherwise, we are absolutely 100% fucked. Damn. Let's move on to our next topic. We're going to hop over to the Health Ranger over on X, who will illuminate us as to the seriousness of the situation we are now entering. Mike Ranger's Health Ranger at Health Ranger. Check out the Health Ranger, survivalnutrition.com, brighteon.com, his streaming platform, naturalnews.com. This dude's the man, Mike Adams. Breaking: Russia just banned all trading in the dollar and euro across the Moscow exchange. The collapse of the dollar and the rise of BRICS currencies is happening faster than we ever anticipated. Every time the incompetent fools in Washington, D.C. apply more dollar sanctions to the world reacts by dumping dollars and shifting to a new multipolar economic reality. So now the MOEX has halted all transactions in dollars. The same thing will soon be announced by Saudi Arabia, which will halt the sale of oil in dollars. They've announced it. This will implode the dollar virtually overnight as countries around the world begin panic dumping the failed U.S. currency. Gold and silver are the last refuge of asset safety in a world where Western currencies are being obliterated at breakneck speed. Plan accordingly. And he links to an article from RT showing how they have indeed dumped the dollar on their exchange. Let me get my documents file open on the right browser so I'm not having to click back and forth, click and drag and copy and paste and everything. Yeah, let's hop over to our next part of this story. We got BRICS news breaking this information as well. Moscow Stock Exchange officially suspends all trade in dollars and euros. They're triggering the collapse. So I would not I'm not giving financial advice, but I would not be having assets that are backed in dollars at this point, because we are in uncharted territory. The dollar hegemony is coming to an end, and it's going to be a bumpy fucking ride, to say the absolute least. Let's hop over to a little clip of Putin saying exactly what's going on. This is crazy, guys. This is super, super crazy. I might have to narrate this. We'll see. $1 trillion a year. This is modern neocolonialism, using the monopoly, like I said, monopoly money, position of the U.S. dollar. The United States consumes $1 trillion more each year than it produces, as if drawing resources from other countries. Exactly. We are using the dollar to, it's a weaponized dollar. We're actually not doing it. It's the international banking cartel that's using the dollar as a global currency, sucking wealth out of all the countries that use it, including the U.S., which is why everybody here is squeezed for cash at home. It's intentional. It's intentional. Putin knows what's going on. The dollar is not actually money. It's a weaponized unit of debt that's used to siphon wealth from economies, like a coupled oscillator or like a parasite. I'm not even being hyperbolic. That's actually what it is. This has been in the works for a long time. I've mentioned before my 2010 song that I wrote, Hey You, a play on Pink Floyd's Hey You, where I talked about China and Russia dumping their dollars. First, China stopped buying our treasuries. Then they started trading with Russia using only their own currencies. It's like a rap song from the future, a warning from the future. Next, the dollar was like a disease. No one wanted it. Across the globe, portfolios started dropping it. Once it started, there was no stopping it. The biggest bubble in history. Amazing that we went so long without popping it. But inevitably, someone started the process, and tsunamis of dollars and broken promises rushed back upon us. Now we're living in squalor, staying warm by burning our dollars, getting poisoned by the cadmium, arsenic, and thallium. Now the star-spangled banner is only sadly sung in reminiscence of a past life replaced with depression. You should have listened to Jefferson. He predicted the shit that we're stepping in, told us paper money would allow the banks and corporations all to grow up around us, depriving us of our wealth. Taking our property till we all wake up homeless on the land our fathers conquered. Hey, you. Boom. Fucking terrifying. So that's my message from the future. I'm a time traveler. I went up there, everything's bad, wrote a message, delivered it back in time to all of us. Nobody listened, unfortunately. Let's check out vintage clips from recent years of Putin talking about this and why they were going to be ditching the dollar. Already, countries is carried out in rubles and yuan. Here, for the use of Chinese yuan in settlements between Russia and the countries of Asia, Africa, and Latin America, that was China and Russia using their own currencies.
Китайских юаней в расчетах между Российской Федерацией и странами Азии, Африки, Латинской Америки. Я уже говорил.
Yeah, and then we got more. This is crazy. We're witnessing insane history. Kim.com over here saying, ignore the Western propaganda for a few minutes. What Putin says in this speech is true. If you think Russia is the dark side, then you have allowed yourself to be brainwashed by a multi-billion-dollar Pentagon budget that controls Western media and big tech. This is from September 30th, 2022. The West is ready to cross every line for the sake of preserving a neo-colonial system which allows it to live off and plunder the world. Thanks to the domination of the dollar and technological supremacy, they want to continue collecting the hegemon's rent, tribute payments from humanity, which is their primary source of unearned prosperity, referring to dollar hegemony, the dollar being the global reserve currency. And through inflation, we're sucking out money, taking payments from everybody in form of siphoning wealth from the value of their savings. They want to continue collecting rent Oh, preservation of this rent is their main, real, absolutely self-serving motivation. It is therefore in their interest to de-sovereignize the world, to push towards global government and nations. This explains their aggression towards independent states, traditional values, and authentic cultures. But it's not the U.S., it's the international banking cartel that's doing it. We're just their proxy, their most powerful proxy. They took over our economy in 1913 with the Federal Reserve, and they began using the engine of American might and production and value as a weapon to sabotage the global economy and suck value out from all countries that use the dollar as a reserve currency. Explains their aggression towards independent states, traditional values, and authentic cultures, as well as their attempts to undermine international integration processes, new global currencies, and technological development centers we cannot control. We had to maintain dollar hegemony to create the illusion that money is real. But as soon as there's a gold-backed currency, that illusion will be shattered, the dollar will crumble, people will dump their reserves, causing hyperinflation in the U.S. We're headed for a Weimar Republic, 1919 to 1923, Germany situation. Do not hold dollars. Precious metals, bullets, cleaning supplies, medicines, sunglasses, shoes, you name it, things that have value you will need. It is critically important for them to force all countries to surrender their sovereignty to the United States. In certain countries, the ruling elites voluntarily agree to do this and become vassals. Others are bribed or intimidated, like John Perkins' book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, where he talks about his job going across the world and bribing and extorting world leaders to bring them under U.S. control. And when that fails, they send in the jackals to pop skulls. And if this doesn't work, they destroy entire states, leaving behind humanitarian disasters, devastation, ruins, millions of wrecked and mangled human lives. Terrorist enclaves, social disaster zones, protectorates, colonies, semi-colonies. They don't care and only worry about extracting their own benefit. Their greed and determination to preserve unfettered dominance are the real reasons behind the hybrid war that the collective West is now waging against Russia.
И есть подлинные причины той гибридной войны, которую коллективный Запад ведет против России.
They don't wish us freedom. They want us to be a colony. Every dollar, every country that holds U.S. dollars is essentially a colony.
Хотят не равноправного сотрудничества, а грабежа. Хотят видеть нас не...
It's monetary conquest, economic conquest. Like we've discussed before, the three main forms of conquest: religious conquest, but you can't convince people to believe in what your God demands all the time; military conquest, but you can't convince people to believe in your cause all the time and fight for it; and then economic conquest, which is money and mathematics, and right over most people's head. They don't even understand that it's happening. They slowly devalued the dollar over 4 generations now, 16 years after I wrote my song talking about devaluation spread out over 3 generations, so that it's so slow that it made it hard to notice, like boiling a frog in a pot, slowly turning up the heat until the point where they realize they're being cooked and it's too late to jump out because they can't. So that's what they did to us with the dollar. I've been trying to expose this for a while. I should have started podcasting before, sorry, but let's continue. They don't want us to be a free society, but a herd of soulless slaves. And it's not the U.S. Like I said, the U.S. is just a puppet of the international Rothschild banking cartel. They view our way of thinking, our philosophy, as a direct threat. This is why they want to assassinate our philosophers, Alexander Dugin. Our culture and art present a danger to them, so they're trying to ban it. Our development and prosperity is also menacing to them because of growing competition. They don't want or need Russia, but we do. Remember what Rockefeller said, competition is a sin. No, competition is pure Americana. That is what makes the free market. It's what allows for innovation and development as people compete to create the best products and sell the best things and the best ideas as well. It's the whole original concept between having individual states working together so that they could compete to create the best policies to draw tourism, to draw business, to draw, residency. So Putin is on point here. He knows exactly what's going on. Base Hitler Putin calling out the criminals that are using the U.S. dollar, the weaponized debt, to destroy the planet and the entire wealth of the world by just sucking it up like a Hoover. It's pure evil, guys. It's pure, 100% unadulterated pure evil. It's pure evil! So simultaneously, because as if this wasn't bad enough for the U.S. dollar that Russia is dumping it, we now also have information that Saudi Arabia is ditching the petrodollar as well. This is Shadow of Ezra over here on X, at Shadow of Ezra. Saudi Arabia ditches the U.S. dollar. Saudi Arabia will not be renewing the 50-year petrodollar agreement with the United States. Instead, they will be selling oil in multiple currencies, including the Chinese RBM, euros, yen, and yuan. Multiple currencies, competition. That's what we need. The idea of centralized, hegemonic global currency reserves is inherently a bad idea. Anytime that you centralize things, it just sets up disaster. You need to have decentralization. That's why individualism is better than collectivism. It's why nationalism is better than globalism, because if somebody fucks up, it's not a systemic risk to the whole system. I know it's a little bit redundant the way I worded that, so sorry about that. But this should be treated as a black swan event, Shadow of Ezra says. But you wouldn't know it because the U.S. government is more focused on investigating tire tracks over an LGBTQ street intersection. Remember, the revolution will not be televised unless you're watching Common Censored. Thanks to everybody joining us today again. Appreciate you being here. I'm Lord Sterling. If you're new, appreciate you giving me the opportunity to earn your viewership. Just a reminder, we're doing a subscriber or a subscriber drive trying to get support for the show. So if you follow and sign up to support us on Locals or Subscribestar or Rumble Rant, $5 or more, we'll read your Rumble Rants. And you'll automatically be entered in a contest to win copies of our books, Common Sense First Edition Revived, and our eponymous Common Censored, where we redacted that same book. So this is crazy. Let's continue. We're over here with Globe Eye News, at Globe Eye News. Let me make sure this is on screen. Okay, good. Breaking, Saudi Arabia will stop using the U.S. dollar for oil sales and will not renew the 50-year petrodollar agreement with the U.S. I'm not saying, I don't want to cause a bank run, but this is going to cause a bank run. The time to panic may be upon us. This is fucking crazy. Who knows what's going to happen? There's basically, there may not have been a 50-year agreement on paper, but the petrodollar is what everybody has agreed to for the past 50 years to trade oil in the dollar. And so Saudi Arabia ditching that is going to be massive, massive, massive news. Let's move on to our next topic. In completely, totally unrelated news, don't think about it. Russia has published footage of its warships and nuclear-powered submarines arriving in Cuba near the U.S. borders. As we heard from Scott Ritter the other day when Russia announced that it was going to start distributing weapons to proxy countries in proximity to the U.S., similarly to the way that we've been doing with... Threeper says, Lord Sterling, deal ended on the 9th of June. Thanks, Threeper. Appreciate that tip, brother. Similarly to the way we've been doing with NATO, setting up states around Russia with our weapons and everything, they're doing the same thing to us, and everybody's panicking, but Scott Ritter said that he felt relief, a big relief, because this means that they're trying not to jump into nuclear war. They're setting up additional steps of escalation before escalating to nuclear war. Putin knows what's going on. He's trying to stop, he's trying to prevent all of this shit from popping off before we go to nuclear war, it seems. Setting up fail-safes so that there are additional steps to be taken to bide time before Donald Trump hopefully gets back in office, which is what we all pretty much need at this point. Give me 1 second here while I open up new tabs. While I'm broadcasting, I'm closing tabs from the other browser that I was using, Brave browser, to try to get us functioning all in one browser. We should be good now. So thanks for your brief patience there. Russia publishes footage of its warships and nuclear-powered submarines arriving in Cuba, or at least one sub, near the U.S. Don't freak out. This could be good. It could be them taking steps to prevent nuclear war. So slower escalation is better than faster escalation, which is basically what Scott Ritter was saying. Remember Scott Ritter, the former UN weapons inspector who had his passport revoked by the U.S. Last week as he tried to attend a big conference in Russia. Let's move on to our next topic. It's Lizzo. If you guys remember that South Park spoof that we that we covered recently. Pretty funny. Coming from Mario Nafal. 10,000 lawsuits hit Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro over severe side effects. Of course, these are, what's up, Maritime 1995? Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Ozempic and similar shots like Wegovy and Mounjaro are reportedly facing up to 10,000 lawsuits from patients who claim the drugs are causing debilitating side effects like stomach paralysis and tearing holes in the food pipe. Wow, that doesn't sound good. Unfortunately, the manufacturers failed to adequately warn of the associated risks. Oh, you mean the consumers didn't get informed consent? Zachariah, 46, quote, had her gallbladder removed 7 months after starting Ozempic. Meredith, 56, diagnosed with stomach paralysis after taking Mounjaro. Source, Daily Mail. Side effects reported to linked to Ozempic include suicidal thoughts, all kinds of crazy shit. Sexual dysfunction, bad breath, burps, and metallic taste, kidney damage, hair loss, muscle loss, allegedly, all this stuff. So watch out. You're better off with Lizzo than Ozempic, it sounds. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Unique Preppin'. Appreciate you, brother. Boom. Love you too, man. Can't wait for your new video. Looking forward to more updates on that, my friend. Let's jump ahead to our next topic. Got to keep it moving. We have the transcript of Special Counsel Robert Hur's testimony here, his interview with Biden's ghostwriter, Mark Zwonitzer. It's been released, and it turns out that the Biden stolen classified documents scandal is much worse than we actually had thought it was. Surprise! Shocker! I know you guys are all probably super surprised by that. Not, to bring back that 90s joke, a heavily redacted transcript of Special Counsel Robert Hur's interview with Joe Biden's ghostwriter Mark Zwonitzer was released. Biden's stolen classified document scandal is way worse than we thought. This is Christina Layla. Got me on my knees, Layla. Over here on Gateway Pundit. Mark Zwonitzer told the special counsel's office that Joe Biden knowingly shared highly classified information with him and took him to his Wilmington garage where the classified materials were stored in boxes. You want to check out my Corvette? Maybe look at some classified documents? Oversight project on X, posting that we have a major court win. Last night, we forced Garland's DOJ to cough up the transcript of Special Counsel Hur's interview with Biden ghostwriter Mark Zwonitzer. We are reviewing now, but wanted the American people to have it as soon as possible. Link is below, so you can get the transcript on that tweet. Biden's ghostwriter admitted he deleted the audio recordings of Biden interviews after Hur was appointed special counsel. Sounds illegal. Sounds illegal. Hur's team still found him, kind of like that hidden folder on Anthony Weiner's laptop labeled insurance policy with the frazzle drip file. We'll be talking about that maybe a little bit later on in the show. If you guys aren't familiar with that, it's fucked up. That's not YouTube friendly, though. Not anybody friendly, really. It's not friendly at all. Oversight Project, Thread. Let's hop over to their thread. On X, what we can see through the redactions. Here's what we found in the transcript following our big legal win last night. Biden's ghostwriter admitted he deleted the audio recordings of Biden's interviews after Hur was appointed. Let's see, next one. Zwanitzer testified about how President Biden knew he wasn't supposed to have the classified material in such an unsecure setting and needed to be careful in discussing classified material with Zwanitzer, who did not have a security clearance. You guys can review these documents all yourself. Fuck Joe Biden, man. This is hilarious. Zwanitzer told investigators that President Biden took him into his garage in Wilmington home to touch his pee-pee. I mean, to see the president's Corvette. This is the same garage where Biden improperly stored classified documents. The famous Corvette photo here with the docks in the background, the cardboard boxes all falling apart. But creepy Sleepy Joe loves his Corvette, man. He loves that car. Trying to be a Fonzie. He's such a loser. Hur didn't even bother showing up to the Zwanitzer interview. This is odd, considering the high-profile nature of the interview. What? He didn't even bother showing up? Then how do we have a transcript of an interview if the interview didn't occur? Zwanitzer told investigators that Biden read frequently from his personal diary and journals in their interviews for the memoir. Biden wouldn't let Zwanitzer make copies of the documents, but President Biden mentioned he needed to be careful, quote unquote, because he was reading from documents with classified markings. At one point, President Biden told Zwanitzer he had just found a classified document downstairs in his home. That's great. Classified documents you don't even know you have, just falling out of cabinets and shit. The vet ain't electric. That's right, Threeper. Fucking good thing, too. Because when they shut down the power, you're going to need some old school cars without all the computer controls to be fried by the EMPs. Zwanitzer confirmed he never possessed a security clearance, and DOJ curiously redacted his answer to the question of whether he has ever dealt with classified material. As we know, he stole classified material as a senator when he couldn't even claim to have Presidential Records Act authority. Zwanitzer added, he didn't know how procedures in a SCIF, a secure compartmentalized information facility, works. It's a location where you review and discuss classified materials with like a giant Faraday cage probably around it to prevent you from being spied on, where documents are super duper serially secured. Continuing, Zwanitzer transcribed the audio recordings of his interviews with President Biden. He unsuccessfully tried to delete when Hur was appointed and used them to ghostwrite Biden's book. We're fighting to obtain the audio recordings of those interviews in another case. As we know, they've subpoenaed Merrick Garland to try to get the interviews, and he is not complying. He was held in contempt. Hopefully they arrest his ass. Are you guys still able to chat over there? Let me know if the chat is still working for you guys. It stopped refreshing for me, or it's just really quiet over there. Obviously, much of the interview is redacted beyond comprehension, much like our book, Censored, which is completely unreadable and available on Amazon Prime. Or to win, if you Rumble Rant or support us for $5 or more. So yeah, this is crazy. Biden just running around with his classified documents all willy-nilly. This guy trying to hide the evidence to protect him. So ridiculous, man. Biden knew he wasn't supposed to have classified material and said he needed to be careful, even discussing it with Zwanitzer, who did not have a security clearance. Totally ridiculous. Totally expected. Thanks, Mom Mac. Make sure to like, comment, and share if you're watching the show. Thanks to the 53 of you that are joining us right now. Hit that like button and help boost the algorithm. Tickle it up for me, if you don't mind. Jet lag. What's up, Papa Smurf? Ron, too. What's going on? Let's give a shout out to our new followers. Carver 1, John 18 minutes ago. Thanks for following us. Mary Gold 567 on Rumble as well. Only Jeans 61. Never better on Rumble as well. Peggy Platt 1 model _ 2022 C71591. Jameson Joe Expo 04. Reality Check 208. Rachel R. RSB1505. SRET Law. Flipsican. Freedom's the answer. Thanks, guys, for following us. I appreciate you. Arkin, Red Queen, Ronnie 2 Rumble, Danny Mike Boy 2, Thunderworm. That's a good one. Thunderworm. Mrs. GMT, DD Gal 2, J Hearts 37, Patricia Lamb 38, Joey VA. Thanks again for supporting us. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. As we go, let's continue. What's next on the list? Oh, we've got a disturbing whistleblower account coming from Dom Luker. He chummed the waters yesterday, saying that he was that he had a whistleblower approach him and that he'd be coming out with news soon. And now he has indeed released the information developing. This is Dom Luker, breaker of narratives, who may be being sued by George Santos. Hopefully they squared that out, fixed the miscommunication, and came to terms. But anyway, developing. A whistleblower that works for the Whole Foods Market Corporation wants to inform Americans about a new policy change that allows Whole Foods to add food from the garbage back onto the shelves without the consumer's knowledge. This is all allegedly. It sounds like too insane to even be true. So allegedly. Whole Foods calls this program the, quote, Code Green Trash Inspections. They claim it exists to help prevent waste. From the whistleblower, quote, we have very poor upper management at Whole Foods Market, and over the last few years they've implemented novel processes and procedures that have caused big increases in the amount of food we spoil. This may be a quote from this video, maybe not. Doesn't look like it. We'll watch the video in a second. Recently, they instructed us to add an extra day of shelf life to most of the items we produce in-house as a way of covering up the problem. This led us to selling stale and sometimes even moldy food. Ugh, makes my skin crawl thinking about mold. Now they're instructing us to take food out of the trash and put it in our prepared food items that we sell to customers. Holy balls. If this is true, it's definitely fucked up. Hopefully it's not, because it's fucking disgusting. This video is from our June On Point training that we all have to complete. This video is publicly available online, and all team members are required to do this training, so I can only assume that management thinks this is appropriate. Posters for these trainings are plastered all over our back-of-house area. I've attached a picture of the poster. These training materials are made by On Point, but Whole Foods Central Office tells them what to say. Let's take a look at this video and see what's going on.
Our Code Green program has many benefits, including reducing waste and loss. During departmental trash inspections, store leadership may identify items that can be repurposed, like a usable pepper that can be given a second life in a salad. Code Green trash inspections can also show that production or orders should be adjusted to help prevent waste. Our Code Green program has many benefits, including reducing waste and loss.
So they're
during
bringing
departmental
over a trash
inspections,
bag.
Store leadership may
They're taking
identify
things
items
out
that
of
can
the
be
trash.
repurposed, like a usable pepper that can be given a second life in a
I
salad.
mean, if a pepper's usable, it's
Code
usable,
Green
but they're
trash
taking it out of
inspections
the
can
trash.
also show that production or
That's
orders
not cool.
should be adjusted to help prevent waste.
Oh, man. I don't know. Ugh, this is weird. Continuing, Dom Luker has additional posts. Final statement from whistleblower. I just want to clarify for the record that in 7 years I've worked for Whole Foods, no one in management has ever verbally instructed us to take food out of the trash and repurpose it. And I have never seen it happen, at least not in Florida where I work. The only place I've heard this said or implied was in our June 2024 On Point training video. This video was posted publicly on YouTube, so I thought it was appropriate to share, but I want to be clear that I've never seen it happen or heard anyone in management tell someone to do it. I eat the food we sell in prepared foods and will continue to do so, but I think management needs to clarify what exactly they want us to do, because it sounds like they're telling us to repurpose discarded or moldy food. Man, sketchy stuff. Looks like, ooh, this looks like it could be an interesting story. Dom Luker saying we have confirmation they're trying to start a race war before the election. One of the 4 things that Jones was talking about in his big Quattro prediction: race war, new pandemic, nuclear war, and financial collapse. And I added one to make it a Cinco conflux of events with blackout, EMP blackout scenario. Let's see what's going on here. Arizona man caught planning mass shooting at Atlanta rap concert. Astro Blink, thanks for joining us. Biden knew he had the files and knew he should not. That is absolutely true, in my opinion, allegedly. I agree, brother. Let's see what's going on over here with Dom Luker. Arizona man caught planning mass shooting at Atlanta rap concert, quote, to start a race war before election. Whoa, if that's an actual quote from this individual, this is serious. Were they going to try to blame it on MAGA? Probably. Donna 1437, I hope they washed that pepper. Yeah, seriously, Donna. For real. Oh, man. It's yeah, sketchy situation. Let's check out what Dom is saying over here.
So let's start off. There are now reports that there was a man who traveled from Arizona to Atlanta in hopes to start a race war. Now, typically, when we see stuff like this, the first thing we think is media propaganda trying to divide us. Of course, this is how they get down. This is what they want to do. Now, I'll tell you what, there's something that's very disturbing about this story specifically that definitely deserves media attention. And I'm going to go ahead and get into it.
Which involved shooting up others.
Apologies. Let's go.
A Prescott man accused of trafficking guns to allegedly incite a race war. The Justice Department says 58-year-old Mark Prato was planning a mass shooting and wanted to recruit others with racist beliefs. Whoa. Court records allege Prato revealed his plan to FBI informants, which involved shooting up a rap concert in Atlanta, Georgia, because he believed there would be more black people there to shoot. Prieto wanted to
pay attention to this part right here.
Carry out his plan sometime before the election. He's charged with firearms trafficking for use in a hate crime, punishable by up to 15 years in prison.
So this is a white dude. Jones had been predicting that we were going to see black churches get shot up, or Jewish synagogues, federal buildings being bombed, potentially things that they could blame on the domestic terrorist alt-right MAGA. This guy must be some kind of operative or something, I would assume, because no real people want a race war. Let's be real. Who knows? Let's continue.
Now tell me, what was important that was just said? I won't wait on it. I'll tell you. He wanted to carry this out right before the election. Why would someone do that? Why would the election matter? I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories about mind control, MK Ultra, any of that. But I'm telling you, that is very weird to me to want to just push that right now when Donald Trump is without a doubt has the most black support out of any Republican candidate in American history. Why would they want to push a race war? This is a sign of things that's coming. This is a sign of things that's coming. These people are coming with blood and fury to divide us. We are closer now than ever of having unity. We are closer now than ever of having peace. We are closer now than ever of saving America. I'm seeing a lot of race bait content on the internet, on X.
And the media has been doing it. We've covered that chart repeatedly that shows the number of times the word racist, racists, and racism have been used in media coverage from Washington Post, New York Times, and a couple other big controlled corporate media outlets. Starting in 2007, when Obama was running for office, there was a big spike where they said anybody that was going against Obama policy suggestions was racist. I know, because I was one of them, and people were calling me racist. I'm like, no, I'm talking about policies. It has nothing to do with race. Then he won. It kind of calmed down, and then it skyrocketed leading into his second term and just continued. And they took all those accusations of racism and projected it onto MAGA right out of that 1943 American Communist Party handbook that G. Edward Griffin famously has read from a whole bunch of times. I'll find the video real quick and play it for you for our new viewers because it's critically important, where they basically tell you that after a suitable buildup, to label people with different positions as bigots, racists, anti-Semites, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, hammer it home until it becomes fact in the public mind. Here we go.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable buildups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
So this is a communist tactic to divide and conquer, to divert from actual arguments with red herring logical fallacies, taking away from the argument, and because nobody wants to. If you're a racist, it's an automatic disqualifier. You know, nobody will even talk with you. So that's what they're doing here.
Specifically, to make Trump supporters appear as if they're racist. And it's coming from within. It's coming from the optics of us championing certain things and us pushing the voice of certain people. It absolutely makes no sense. Everyone should have freedom of speech, but we have.
And he's talking about, you know, how mind control type stuff. He's not sure about it. But look at this. Look at this. You know, all the school shooters talking about how they, you know, voices in their head told them to commit shootings and do these horrible things. James Holmes, the Colorado Batman shooter, having connections with the Colorado University or Denver University, whatever it is, mind control operations. And Jolyon West, the doctor who was, you know, treating Sirhan, mind control extraordinaire. Take a look at this. This is crazy. Mom Mac, thanks for sharing this. It fits in perfectly with what Dom just said about, I don't know about MK Ultra and mind control patsies, but look at this. This is crazy. Kevin, We the People Dad, posting this. Directed energy weapons are just a conspiracy theory, right? Right, guys? Right? No. Take a look at this. We got the patents now, apparently, allegedly.
This is one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life. I think the government trying to control your mind with brainwaves and put dreams and thoughts in your head was stupidity, QAnon stuff. Then I saw this that Brianna showed me. On the United Nations Human Rights Office of the High Commissioner, they literally have this document called Directed Energy Weapons Targeted Individual Patents. And this includes all of the patents for these DEWs, the frequency, wave type, symptoms, publication, invented by, and the description. And we
were recently talking about Havana syndrome and watching that video with Sabrina Wallace talking about Raytheon's smart dust and Hades system that uses these frequencies to manipulate people's emotions, to plant voices into their heads. Eric Hecker blowing the whistle about the Antarctic directed energy weapon, like a kilometer by kilometer by kilometer field with an array of receiver emitters that are used for this exact purpose, is what he said. Let's continue. This is crazy.
You have to read some of these descriptions because it's truly terrifying. Makes voices emanate from individuals who do not intend or realize it. Ventriloquist effect.
Whoa. What was that?
Some of these descriptions because it's truly terrifying. Makes voices emanate from individuals who do not intend or realize it. Ventriloquist effect.
That's exactly what Eric Hecker was talking about. He said that the device in Antarctica could be used to project your own voice into your head to make you think that you are thinking things that you're not thinking. Kind of a confusing sentence, but so dude, is this real life? This is fucking crazy.
Remotely causes individuals to hear voices via EMF waves imperceptible to anyone else. Remember when these school shooters say that a voice in their head told them to do that? This is a patent for doing exactly that. Controls human behavior via targeting human brains with ELF, extremely low frequency. And all you have to do is copy and paste this patent number into Google, and you'll see the patent number, Google Patents. You'll see what it does, the abstract, the images, literally everything is on here. And then suddenly so much makes sense. Shout out to Brianna for finding this. I can't believe it.
Boom. Boom. Vindication. Yeah, this is all potentially happening, guys. This is crazy. Share the broadcast. Get the word out immediately about this. The targeted individual program. This is potentially the cause of the Havana effect. The thing that causes people to hear voices that tell them to do violent things. The only solution, guys, is to know thyself. Figure out who you are, what you stand for, learn principles, abide by them, and then when these voices enter your head, it sounds even crazy to talk about, you'll be able to realize that that's not me, that's not what I believe. Know thyself, think for yourself, question authority, question the voices. This is fucking crazy, man. Whoo, man. All right, it's time to ditch YouTube because we're going to get into some non-YouTube friendly material from here on out. Boom, just posted the link over to the YouTube chat. Sorry to have to ditch you guys, but YouTube sucks and they don't allow us to talk about actual stuff over there. So hit that link, join us on Rumble, where the water is warm, where we all float, relegated off the mainstreams of big tech platforms down into the sewers. They call us clowns, but you know, every madman thinks all others insane, right? And they're the insane ones. Sam Duty, they can project images. I've seen them before. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, man. Yeah. I won't divulge anything that you've told me, but makes perfect sense. Alicia, I've never heard voices but mine. However, I always had this weird feeling like people were listening to my thoughts ever since I was a kid. Yeah. All right, guys, time to rumble. Come rumble with us, Mama Max says. I agree. Sorry to have to ditch you if you can't make it, but if not, we'll catch you on the flip side. Until then, let's get ready to rumble.